With all that is going on with inflation and with everything that is happening in today, with all the uncertainty, with all of the fraud and the crooks and everything that's going on, today I want to give you 5 examples where it's okay or where you're probably most likely going to have to give your social security number out, and 5 examples where you shouldn't necessarily have to give your social security number out. I've had a few people ask me, as well as recently I had my grandmother call me with regards to a company reaching out to her looking like it was a legit company and wanting her social security number and access to some information. So I figured, why not do something in general with regards to when it's okay to give your social security number. So stay tuned. My name is Jay, and welcome to Ask a Debt Collector, a subsidiary of Clear and Strategic. Now, I've been in the debt collection industry for over 15 years. I've done it all, from management to owning 2 debt collection companies. Over the last 10 years, I've been the go-to guy for friends and family for questions regarding debt and credit. Now I want to be that person for you. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. Let's go. So, like I stated before, there are a lot of crooks out there. A lot of you guys have to be careful with regards to just handing over your social security number. Because when doing so, a lot of crooks out there, especially if you have good credit, will open up credit cards and so forth in your name and open up lines of credit and so forth in your name, and you will not know. Now, one of the big ways in order to stop that is by having credit monitoring. I use Smart Credit for all my clients with regards to keeping their credit clean. I'll put that down in the description for those of you who may want to use those services. I recommend everyone have credit monitoring in general, just in case somebody does try and open up something in your name. You have the protection, or you have, at least you'll get an alert showing that someone applied for something under your social security number. But we're going to get into 5 places that you do not want to give your social security number to, and companies and so forth. Some of this stuff is a little controversial, and I'll explain, but ultimately I want you guys to be protected out there. So the first place that you don't want to necessarily give your social security number to is hospitals and doctors, right? And not saying that hospitals and doctors are crooked or anything along those lines, but typically with insurance, that's all they need is your insurance card, your address, your first name, last name, and so forth with regards to getting approved for stuff. Or, you know, obviously if you're seeing a doctor, you go to an emergency room or something along those lines. If they're asking for your social security number, be a little leery. Obviously, in certain situations and circumstances, they may need that for people who don't have insurance to tie you to whatever the services are being done, so that way they can properly bill you. But for those of you who do have insurance and so forth, you don't need your social security number. Your insurance card should be sufficient. Number 2 is for schools, right? A lot of times when you're filling out information with regards to going to a brand new school, I don't know, for those of you who've signed up your kids for school and so forth, they're not going to typically ask for your social security number. They're typically going to need your first, last name, and some type of billing, typically a utility bill or something along those lines, to verify that you live obviously in that district and so forth. When going to college, same situation. There are cases, small cases, where they may need your social security number, but for the most part, schools do not need your social security number. Number 3 is drugstores. Same situation. You go inside there, you know, a CVS, you know, Walmart, they have their drugstores, all those types of stores where you can get, you know, obviously prescription drugs that you need with regards to services that you were prescribed from your doctor. A lot of times when you go in those drugstores, if they're asking for your social security number, that's a little leery. I wouldn't give that. Typically, all they need is a government issued ID to verify who it is that you are, and with that government issued ID, a driver's license, identification number, they should be able to get your information. So stay away from giving your social security number to drugstores. The fourth place that I want to talk about is airlines, right? When you apply or you are filling out information with regards to taking a flight, if you have a travel agent, obviously they'll do it for you. But for those of you who don't, you may go on some of these websites, Southwest, American Airlines, all of that information. They're not going to ask you for your social security number. Typically, when you do pay for your airlines, they want to, similar to like I said with the drugstores, they're going to want a government ID, something showing your first, last name, a picture of you to identify who you are. They're not going to ask you for your social security number, so stay away from that. And then the biggest one and the fifth place that I would say to be leery of giving your social security number is to unexpected phone calls that you get on the phone. I get those scam calls all the time where people are calling me. They're trying to get access either to my computer or they're asking information to try and verify you. A lot of times, typically, they're foreigners, either from India or Africa or somewhere along those lines. But understand, if you weren't expecting a call and someone calls you randomly and everything sounds legit, and then they're asking. I remember one time giving someone access to my actual laptop back in like 2008. A company called me saying they were from Microsoft, saying that there was some issues with my stuff. I actually gave them access to my actual computer. And pretty soon after that, I ended up having to get rid of the computer in general. But if they're calling you up unexpectedly, a lot of government agencies and so forth won't even call you on the phone. I.e. the IRS and so forth. They're not going to call you on the phone. Typically, they're going to send letters, the correspondence with regards to letters and emails. But be careful. If someone calls you on the phone, they're asking for your information, do not give them that information, especially if you don't know who they are. And if they call and everything seems legit, always reverse search the number, look up the company again, hang up, call them back, and see if someone actually called you from that company, because you have to be careful in protecting yourself with your social security number. Now, let's get into 5 places where you may need to give your social security number, and I would say it's okay. The IRS, obviously, if they contact you or if you contact the IRS, a lot of times they're not going to contact you like I stated, but if you contact them with regards to something concerning taxes, back taxes, anything along those lines, when you get someone on the phone, typically they're going to ask for your social security number. It's the IRS. You're okay with giving them that. The second place is banks and lenders, right? Whether you're filling out an application or you're talking to someone on the phone, typically to identify who you are, they're going to want to verify that information. And then obviously you're going to want to give it on applications and so forth. Your social security number is your identity to who you are. And a lot of times when filling out applications, well, not a lot of times, almost every time, if you're filling out an application to get a bank account or some type of credit, you're going to have to give your social security number. So it's okay in that situation. The third way is for cash transactions over 10 grand. I don't know if you guys have ever gone inside of a bank to deposit anything over $10,000. A lot of times they're going to ask for your social security number with regards to that. When you're doing cash transactions over 10 grand, it brings a flag so that the IRS, which is the first people that we talked about, they want to have access to know that you're the actual one who did it. So once tax time comes up or whatever the circumstance is, they want to make sure that you, in fact, are the person with that transaction. The fourth place that you're going to have to give your social security number is your employers, right? Your employers are going to need your social security number because for tax information, when they're showing that they paid you, especially a 1099 type of situation, we're going to need your social security number to show that we actually paid you, and it's documented under your social security number. And for getting jobs and so forth, they want to identify who you are. A lot of times they want a copy of that social security number to make sure that you are who you say you are. And then the fifth and last place is the DMV, right? Department of Motor Vehicles. That's what it's called out here. I know that they have different names for it and so forth and everything, but for licensing, for sometimes renewals and so forth, the DMV, they may ask for your social security number, and it's okay to give them that information with regards to that. But to protect yourself from fraud and a lot of other things happening, people are opening up credit and so forth in your name, be sure to sign up for some type of credit monitoring. I use Smart Credit. I'll put that down in the description if that's something you want to use. I think it's, you know, 19 bucks a month. It's something that I would recommend that you do use and you get it. And then there's some free ways as well. You can get Credit Karma as well as Experian. You can go to their website. Credit Karma will give you TransUnion and Equifax absolutely for free. And then Experian will give you, if you go to Experian website, they'll give you one where you'll get them. So that if someone does apply for credit and approve for credit, at least you'll get an alert and then you can do what you need to do to stop that from happening so that you don't have fraudulent accounts on your credit profile. So down below is a 20-minute free consultation. This information, a lot more information that we have. Now is the time, with inflation and so forth, to start investing in yourself. And the best way to get started is by cleaning up your credit. 20-minute consultation down below. Feel free to sign up for that, as well as the free letter bundle where you'll get a Goodwill letter, a cease and desist letter, as well as a pay to delete letter, absolutely for free. Just fill out the information. Make sure you fill out the information correctly, because in order to get that, we would send that to you. And if you don't fill out the information correct, you won't get those 3 letters absolutely for free. Now, if you have any questions about credit or debt, be sure to put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. And as I always state, you be great.